Everyone, my name is Dr. Pavan Soni. I am author of the book Design Your Thinking. In this short video, I'll be talking to you about a very important topic called strategic acumen or strategic thinking. You see, what we need to understand is that the evolution of your thinking is not a natural consequence of your career progression, which is to say that just because you have moved up the corporate ranks, it doesn't mean that your thinking has graduated. So, in this short talk, I'll be discussing with you 5 imperatives of what it means to develop a strategic mindset. The first thing is called as big picture thinking. What I mean by big picture thinking is to really understand the overarching terrain or the overarching purpose of why we are doing something. Often, if the leaders are not very clear about the bigger picture, they get lost into the nitty gritties and they lose out on the most consequential things that demand their attention. And as I say, big picture thinking is something that you either have or you don't have. There are many people who spend a lot of their time and efforts into micromanaging things, ensuring that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. However, if you lose out on the bigger picture, then I don't think there is anybody else that can save the organization. So that's the first thing, the big picture thinking. The second imperative is what we call as future back thinking. As against the present forward thinking, wherein you are spending a lot of your time in trying to grapple with your existing problems, in a future back thinking, you first zero down on where you want to reach or what you want to be or where do you see your organization's couple of years hence, and you start from that point onwards backwards and try to understand that what should I stop doing today, what should I start to that end objective of mine. So that is your future back thinking. The third aspect is what we call as outside in view. Now, if I ask you the question that what are you more acutely aware of, your organization or the things which are happening outside your organization? Needless to guess, you will be far more aware of the happenings within your organization, the profit and loss, the cash flow, the employee, the cultural issues, as against what is happening outside your organization. And that is exactly where your thinking gets trapped. What you need to understand as a manager is, am I acutely aware of the changes happening in my domain, in my industry? What new technological trends are going to fall out in the next 5 years? What economic changes am I expecting? And once I have an understanding of those changes, then I come back and try to see that how does my organization remain relevant in these evolving landscapes. So that is what we call as outside in perspective as against a inside out perspective. The fourth aspect is decisiveness. Leadership or strategy is often known as a situation where you have to make decision in the absence of data, in the absence of information. Now, while data can empower you, but also data can confuse you. Many times you may not have the right data, you may not have adequate data, or you may have misguiding data. And if data is so much available to you and your competitors, the result is about how quickly and how decisively you can act on that data. And that is why decisiveness is very, very critical. In the amidst of uncertainty, you should be able to take a call and go ahead with that call. So decisiveness is a cornerstone trait of effective leaders. And lastly, commitment, or what I call as ownership. There are many things in life which do not work as per the plan, but the key is to own the outcome and not the plan. Many managers fall for the trap that they make a glorious plan and then they stick to the plan, even if intuitively they understand that whatever is happening is not going as per the plan. So you need to work on your plan as the plan is getting unfolded, which is to say, have an extreme ownership of the outcome so that you own the people reporting into you, so that you own the situation and dominate the situation instead of the situation dominating you. So these are my 5 simple tips on how you can develop a strategic mindset about yourself. And you don't have to be a CEO to develop these things. On the contrary, if you start developing these things, your chances of becoming a CEO go up significantly. You can apply these things as an entrepreneur as well. So I sincerely hope this short talk was of value to you. I would look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Dr. Pavan Soni. I'm the author of the book Design Your Thinking. And in this particular short talk, I would like to talk to you about what are the specific contexts in which design thinking as a method of problem solving is very suitable. So today I would like to identify 5 conditions under which this method makes a tremendous amount of sense. The first condition is a stretch goal. You see, design thinking makes a tremendous amount of impact when the goal or the objective that you have set out for yourself is really stretched. So design thinking is like a sledgehammer, and you don't want to really use it for problems which are not having a tremendous amount of gravity. So stretch goal is the first condition. Second condition is ambiguity of context. If the context is not wicked and the problem that you're trying to solve is really straightforward, don't try and use design thinking because it will be an overkill. But if the context is very, very ambiguous, there are a lot of moving parts to it, then design thinking makes sense. For example, we're talking about things like women's safety or getting to people to work from office instead of from home. So stretch objective, ambiguity of context. The third thing is access to customers. You don't want to solve a problem in the absence of customer versus you want to solve the problem with the customer. And hence a continuous access to customer makes a tremendous sense because you want to really carry the customer all along so that you can validate the problem and the solution along the journey. That's the third thing. The fourth is availability of time. See, design thinking would mean that there are a lot of false starts, a lot of dead ends, a lot of U-turns, etc. And if you don't have time with you, you would not be able to go for those excursions. You would not really entertain some wild ideas. And the last thing is about diversity of team. You need a lot of diverse people in your team who can bring in a diverse perspective so that your thinking is not straitjacketed. So these are the 5 contexts in which design thinking makes sense. Just to paraphrase: stretch objective, ambiguity of context, access to customers, availability of time, and diversity of team. I hope this was useful to all of you, and I get to understand that if you want to learn more about design thinking, this is the book Design Your Thinking, where you can learn about this. Thank you so much.